Local artist Jen Wood live on KEXP's Audio Oasis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So I'm a little curious. I came across you for the first time in the mid-'90s on a compilation called Move to the Villa Veluca.
Yeah, to Newville.
And that was when you were part of Tattletale.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And you went on, you worked in the context of Tattletale for several years, and then it seemed like you sort of went into the mode where you were working with lots of other people. I know you did stuff with Jeremy Enoch and Black Art Procession and, of course, the Postal Service.
Yeah.
So did you go through a phase where you just you didn't want to commit to any one thing, or just opportunities came up? What was the story behind that sort of trajectory of being focused on Tattletale to becoming more of a guest on other projects?
You know, it's kind of, I was making solo records and stuff, but they just weren't getting the attention. I think in part because I was making such a concerted effort to write songs that weren't pop formulaic. And so I was writing, I was making albums and stuff. I mean, my first solo record, I was 19, and then I did another one when I was 20 or so. And, I think I just had a lot more opportunity being a guest singer and really lucked out, like had the opportunity to work with awesome people. But I was still doing my own stuff. I just, I don't know, part of it was that I didn't really know how to get the promotion that I needed, or maybe I just wasn't like out there partying and like making the contacts and stuff. And, but I was still doing it.
So when you're on your own, you're kind of coloring outside the margins, so to speak, and that kind of kept you down there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So this record is obviously getting a nice little push, though. Can you tell me a little bit about the process? It took you a couple of years to put this together, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And you worked with a variety of different folks. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I actually had a pretty solid band for about 6 or 7 years, and Joel, who's playing drums tonight, is one of the original members. And we actually worked really hard on crafting these songs. I mean, some of the songs that we had written, we'd had for like 4 or 5 years. And then, so we definitely, it was, we're a band, and it was my first time really understanding and learning how to operate as a band, as a team. And then when we went into litho, we had to kind of space it out. And because we all had, barista jobs and whatever bartending jobs and
other projects.
Right.
And,
so we were kind of, and then other bands. And, but it did take a long time to make it happen, because we actually finished the recording like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. A couple years ago.
You're a patient woman.
I've been humbled,
by the process. Well, it's out now. And what label are you on? New Granada?
New Granada, and they are awesome. They're husband-wife team out of Florida. They've had this label for like 10 years out of their house, and they work so hard. And they kept contacting me and saying, we noticed your record isn't out yet, because I was shopping it and getting politely declined. And they were like, we are huge fans. We would love to help you. And
let us bring your little kid into the sunshine.
Yeah, and
excellent.
They did.
Cool. You lost your capo there, didn't you?
I did. It fell. Don't mind me. I just drop things from time to time.
That's quite all right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear the new record's out. Glad to have you in the studio. The record's called Finds You Love. This is Jen Wood live on KEXP's Audio Oasis. You got a couple more for us?
I do. Yes,
excellent.
Thank you. Just a little tuning for a second. That's what happens when you play alternate tunings. So I'm going to do a solo one next. The song's called When Misery Leaves, and it actually, my record came out in Japan, and this is only on the Japanese release. And it's one of my favorites. Ready? I loved you from a distance before you knew my name, and when I finally met you, you gently held my hand and said you look familiar. I've seen your eyes somewhere, seen your eyes. And I don't know where you've gone to. Maybe you'll meet my dear friend. He was a lot just like you, singing with the needle in his hand. You had a sad, sweet charm that followed with a smile, and the misery that loved you said she had to leave. You went crying and waving your arms about as you fell to your knees, to your knees. And I don't know where you've gone to. Maybe you'll meet my dear friend. He was a lot just like you, singing with the needle in his hand. This song is just for you and no one in this room. I hope that you will hear me for what it is worth. I forgive you.